So if I don't have the mindset to grow, I'm in trouble. If I don't have the mindset to be a learner and submit to the process, I'm going to be in a frustrating marriage. If I don't have the mindset to understand, oh, a fifth baby is coming, it's about to change again, and I'm okay with that. Hey, babe, what changes are going to happen? How are we going to look at this? How are we going to work? I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to learn the new me. I'm excited to learn the new you, and let's keep going together. All right, what up, everybody? Listen, I'm going to keep talking about relationships in this theme because we definitely, all of us, need help in this area, especially those who have already made the commitment and covenant before God. And listen, you don't want to get married at the altar and then leave God at the altar while you go on the honeymoon. Okay, this is a marriage of three, not just a marriage of two. Just like the Trinity, one God composed of three distinct co-equal persons. That is the marriage, right? It's one marriage, but it is God who is the headship, and then it is the husband and the wife in the marriage representing who God is. And so we want to make sure that God is ahead of all of these things. And so that's why we have to bring God in when we're talking about keeping our marriages, our relationships extremely strong. If you didn't see the last video, go back and see it. I talked about Valentine's Day should be everyday thing, and talked about and keyed in on the word give. Listen, you want to give, you want to serve. You want to serve as Christ has served us. Remember, he didn't come to be served, but he came to serve and to give his life away, right? And he did that for sinners. So even if your husband, your wife, the person you're in a relationship with, your boyfriend, girlfriend is sinning against you, the question is, who are you going to be? Are you going to go from Christ's blueprint? Or are you going to go from the world's blueprint? Because the world has a blueprint, it'll be connected to how you feel. Christ has a blueprint, but it's connected to your faith. And so in order to keep these things going and to keep my marriage strong, your marriage strong, which our children would really love that. Our children, our children's children, we're legacy building. And building legacies is not easy. Okay, so there is another G word that I want to give you. Last time we talked about giving. This time I want to talk about growing. Okay, listen. You have to be willing to grow. One of the most frustrating things for those of you who have kids and raising kids, especially when they get to that teenage phase, is they feel like they don't need to learn anything new. And once you feel like you don't need to learn anything new, you're no longer coachable. When you're not coachable, you can no longer grow or get better because you've already gotten to a place where you know it all. So these teens, because I'm raising 2 teens right now and then 3 more who are coming. Yeah, I got 5. These teens, they feel like, and when I was a teen, it was the same thing. Okay, I know, I got it. Okay, I'm not a big deal. Or when they mess up, no, I mean, I didn't mess up. It was so-and-so or somebody else's fault. Or I'm not taking any responsibility and all of that kind of stuff there. They're claiming maturity while being immature. A lot of us in our marriages are the same way. We are unwilling to grow. The hardest thing about marriage is that many people don't have the expectation that they will always be learning. This is why a lot of people shack up for a long time. A lot of people shack up for a long time because they're trying to still learn. They're trying to still figure out after 3 to 5 years, man, is this person, I'm still trying to figure, yeah, but they messed up there and they kind of good here and I really enjoy them here, but and they're still kind of peddling the idea of the person because they feel like they haven't learned enough. What? My dad told me within 40 something years of marriage to my mom that he's still learning. He said, when it comes to your mom, I'm still chewing on baby food. I said, well, then if that's the case, when it comes to my wife, I'm not even conceived. I'm like, because, bro, you've been married over 40 years to this woman, and you mean to tell me you're still learning and growing? And he said, yes, son, just because it's 3rd down and 1 in a football game doesn't mean the offensive coordinator is going to run the same play. You can't assume because the down and distance is the same that means that person is going to run the same play call. And a lot of people's expectations get messed up when it comes to the person because they assume because the situation looked the same that the person was going to be the same. And when the person wasn't the same, or they called something different, or they did something in the mind of the other person that was wacky or wacko, they're like, man, who is this person? Well, actually, that person's that person. And they have 1,000 different calls in their playbook. They have a 20, 30, 40-year history with a whole lot of things in it. And there's no way for you to ever get to the end of that. My dad would often say the Bible is inexhaustible. You're not going to ever learn all of it. You'll always be learning. And the same thing applies when it comes to our marriages. The first thing you need to know is that you have to be willing to grow. You have to be in a position of a learner in order to not be over exacerbated or over frustrated by the fact that you can't figure this person out. You know you love them, but there are so many changes that are happening and you're not able to get to the end of it where you got it. Now things get better, but you'll always be learning. Listen to me. In a marriage or in a relationship, things are always changing. Me and my wife started out as dinks. Y'all like, what's a dink? Dual income, no kids. Did you just hear me? Dual income, no kids. That's how we started out. Boy, we had the time of our lives. We were going on cruises. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We were saving money. I was trying to play in the NFL. Keyword trying. I was trying to play in the NFL, but I got some good checks though while I was trying. Got some good checks. Kanika was a physical therapist working at the hospital. We had money coming in, y'all. And back then I was living in North Dallas, which is a side of town that cost a little bit more. But back then, that 1-bedroom apartment was $680 a month. Did you hear what I just said? $680 a month. You can't live on the street for $680 a month now. Back then, we were living way under our means, living our best life, enjoying each other, just being good friends, having a good time, all of those things. Guess what? Baby number 1 came. Well, that dynamic changed. Now our money's lower. Now our time is lower. Now things are constricted. Now frustrations come that we didn't used to have. Now we got to think about this, think about that. Then baby number 2, then baby number 3, then baby number 4. And through all of that, dynamics are changing. Career is changing. I'm getting hurt in football and then I got to go to seminary and now I'm changing my career and going over here and now I'm starting to travel and she has to come home and be a housewife to take care of the kids. Now we're homeschooling. Time has changed. Things have changed. And the dynamic of marriage keeps changing. So if I don't have the mindset to grow, I'm in trouble. If I don't have the mindset to be a learner and submit to the process, I'm going to be in a frustrating marriage. If I don't have the mindset to understand, oh, a 5th baby is coming, it's about to change again. And I'm okay with that. Hey, babe, what changes are going to happen? How are we going to look at this? How are we going to work? I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to learn the new me. I'm excited to learn the new you, and let's keep going together. Most people get frustrated by growing. They're not excited about growing. And one thing you want to do is change your expectation that I got it to I need to grow. You've got to change that expectation. One of these areas we need to grow to help our relationship is not just because the relationship's always changing, but because in order to submit to the fact that the relationship's always changing, you cannot be defensive. Okay, let me say that again. This is why people get in arguments. People get in arguments because the crux of an argument basically is, why aren't you like me? That's the crux of every argument. You're mad at the person that they don't do things like you do them, think like you think, talk like you talk, respect you like you respect, look like you look, carry the same countenance, and it gets on your nerves that they're not you. But I got news for you. You didn't go to the altar with yourself. You went to the altar with a totally different person. And so when that person is telling you there's something that they don't like that you're doing, what most people do is they defend themselves. They say, well, I didn't intend to. I'm sorry you took it that way. I'm sorry that you feel like that. That's not what I meant. And what I meant was, and what you need to hear is, and the reason why I tried to do it that way, and the reason why I'm right is, people are not active listeners and wondering why their relationship is becoming deactivated. They're not active listeners. They don't want to grow. They don't want to listen. With all of these changes, me and Kanika have experienced many disagreements, many frustrations, where I had to position myself in a growing position, not be defensive and actively listen, because the person you're in a relationship with is your mirror. You can't see your own face unless it's reflected to you by something else. You have to go to a mirror to see what's on your face. You can't see what's on your face without something objective and outside of you. When your spouse is telling you what they're seeing or what they're doing, they are the reflection. You're not supposed to get mad at the mirror. You're supposed to fix your face. Most people are not willing to fix their face. They're just mad at the mirror. You cannot be in a long-term relationship as a defensive person, and a defensive person cannot grow. Matter of fact, defensive people just get worse. They'll say things like, well, I know I'm not perfect. Well, if you're not perfect, then why are you always defensive? That's a conflict. If you know you're not perfect, then why can't you say, okay, you're right. Let me see how I can work on this. Or what ways do you think I can work on that? Have you ever been in an argument like that? It's not an argument. When two people are trying to grow, it's not an argument. It's, man, these two people are trying to get better. And they realize the other person is a reflection. This was Judas's problem in Matthew 26:25. In Matthew 26:25, Jesus was saying, one of you will betray me. It's one of you at this table. And Judas said, certainly not I, Rabbi. He knew it was him. Bro, come on, man. You know it's you. You got this whole plan together, this whole scheme. You trying to get paid. They've been talking about you since the Old Testament. Like, we know it's you. And he looked at Jesus and said, it's not me. You ever heard your kid when they walk in the room and they ain't supposed to have their phone and they stash it real quick and you saw them and they looking at you and you say, hey, where's your phone? Oh, it's just downstairs. It wasn't me. We can't go anywhere if you're going to lie. We can't go anywhere if you're not going to realize it's you. Judas, it's you. If Judas would have said, what would have happened if Judas would have said, you know what? It is me. I am planning to betray you. It's a totally different conversation. He outs himself. The Bible says secrecy is the aider and abetter of sin in the book of Proverbs. The fact that you're not able to come out and say, I did do that. I did mess up. I do need to grow. I do need to get better. I do need to be this person for you. And I haven't been. Now we can grow. Now the marriage can go somewhere. Now things can blossom. But many of us started as a red rose that now has turned black and has died because it's not blossoming anymore. Everybody's done growing. And if you're done growing, there's nowhere to go but inward decaying and death. We don't want any more divorces. We want marriages to flourish. That means, number one, last week, give. But number two, you got to be willing to grow. Listen, be steadfast, unmovable, always abound in the work of the Lord, and know that it will not go in vain. Listen, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, become a part of the family, leave a comment. You got to give. That was last week. But you got to grow. Position yourself as a learner, and we can blossom instead of decay. All right? Can't wait to see you next time. Let's go. What up, everybody? Listen, make sure you continue to grow. Look at your spouse, look at your loved one, look at the person in your life that you love the most and tell them, I need to grow, I'm willing to grow, and I can't wait for God to show off in our relationship from that growth, all right? Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, become a part of the family, leave a comment, let's grow together. Let's go.